So it just builds and builds and builds. And then it really kicks back, like in, there was at the beginning stage, like the Lars run, where Maryland finally wins the title in 17, and Virginia's kind of gone on this, like, sort of through the abyss. And you get the 2019 one, Virginia's the heavy favorite, but it's the quarterfinals, and Tillman's never lost a quarterfinal. And it's a classic Maryland Tillman quarterfinal. Like, they're up by like 5, and it's like, how the hell are they doing this? But, they've like, they've just kind of methodically, on offense, worked the clock. They've shot the ball great, on defense. They've, sort of really just kind of forced Virginia into a bunch of turnovers. Virginia's kind of out of sync, and they look like they're going to do it again. Unseeded. That was the year they were unseeded. They went to Towson in the first round. They look like they got it, and then Virginia runs them down. And of course, there's the pipe shot, and and it's just that one kind of felt like it could only be Virginia. Of course it's freaking Virginia.
To me, that's the trigger. Like, because if you're like this team, you finally reached the mountain top. This team's been a bugaboo for you in the tournament, regular season, throughout this run, and they take it from you. And it's just not them, but it's just like that was such an obvious call. Like, I don't know how anybody, like,
so bad.
Listen, everyone's human. I'm not a lacrosse ref. I get it. They know more about the sport than I. But I was like, that alone. Like, I remember just watching that for a lot of time and like rewinding it over and over again on demand. I was like, just physics. Like, there's no way the ball could have gone that far. It's just like almost shot to the sideline in that quick a fashion. If it didn't hit something super hard and not like the net, because like the net would have just like it would maybe bounce and dribbled out, but it wouldn't have gone like 6. And that's what I think. Like, it's just like, I think the Terps, like, fans were just kind of lost it there because like over this rivalry, because it was like, and then I think it then continues to 2021. I mean, I don't want to
cut
your
exactly.
I was like 2019,
2021, like we're undefeated. They blow out Duke in the semifinal. It's like, this is it, man. Like, it's gonna be the perfect season. And then Virginia, and Virginia plays great. Like, the way it's like, there's one goal that Jeff Connor scores in this game where like Virginia makes the pass and like it hits the turf and it like bounces through a Maryland player's legs and like just pops right up to Connor in his stick and it like right for a goal. And it's like, oh, of course. It's just, again, it's that's the thing. And it's Maryland. Even when Maryland like got to the top, and they had success against everybody, with Tillman, Virginia was the one to bring them back, and that's so. And of course, now again, that's what, and I think that's what makes this really compelling is that, and the rivalry finally feels very much like it's on even terms. Like, Maryland has blown them out in 22 both times, then goes to Charlottesville when Virginia was number 1 and beat them in OT, a game where like Maryland was ranked, I don't know, like in the top 5 or something, but was a huge underdog.
The juice in the crowd.
Oh my God.
That's the Crosse heritage. That's the
when Daniel Kelly scores the winning goal and some of the crowd, you really hear was like, you suck, 45. You fucking suck.
Amazing. I can just imagine the pastel shirt wearing guy screaming that out.
So, sorry for kind of elaborating, belabor like this kind of it's if if that wasn't your thing, but like, and just to give you the kind of perspective, what this, and a Virginia fan maybe can provide a different second, but like that, like it has just this sort of it from Maryland perspective, the only rivalry that they have that has this kind of kind of narrative and kind of history to it is the Hopkins one. It's the only one. Where I can mention like specific games they've played. Like we're like, it's like, oh, I remember that game. That game happened in that one, like the pipe shot, the 6 overtime game, the overtime and the quarterfinal, and of course the they played multiple national championship games. It's like that's it. It's this one. And now I think what I really love about it, I'm sure for you, is like it's the coaches and their personalities, and it's that it feels like it feels to me. Eventually, it feels like like an old college basketball kind of rivalry, like where it's what you would get with Coach K, like Roy Williams, or one of those like where it's just it feels big, like what you want a big game to be. There's just a different when these two teams. It doesn't matter. Like, yeah, there's maybe a little less juice with this one. That's what I kind of thought. Like 2 weeks ago, I'm like, yeah, it feels like really less juice. And then it got to the game week, and I'm like, oh no, I feel it.
Like that's pure OJ. Well, I didn't want to. I love when you go through that history, because no way am I comparing you to Putin, but like Putin, where you just got like 40 minutes about the history of Ukraine, just writing it out. I was like, this is amazing. I love it. This is great content. For you, the history of the UVA, because so many of these games are seared, and I think there's the proximity, the border state relationship, because I think you got like the youth leagues, the high school teams, the travel teams, like there's rivalries there that like I think like maybe Virginia Maryland game was a little bit dormant during the 90s, and then kind of Stars was running. But I think like when both teams are really good, I think like you have like all these other factors of like they're right next to each other. They kind of like battle for bragging rights of like who has the best recruits and stuff like that. Recruiting, both of these coaches are on top. Like there are just so many things that they're like competing on, and I think like them being next to each other kind of got a like Athens Sparta kind of vibe to it. Like the Hopkins is just unique because of the history of the two schools, but like this is like a true rivalry that if Hopkins didn't exist, like I think Virginia would be their biggest rival.
Yeah.
There's just so much at stake, I think, when they play each other, especially now because they're at the top of their game, that kind of see this energy from the crowd. The culture clash, I think, just starts with the coaches, but culture clash of the schools, as you know, like Charlottesville's absolutely beautiful campus, but like for me, just not. I like the city. I kind of like College Park, like being right next to DC. But like maybe some person is just like, yeah, I'm not a city guy. I love Charlottesville, like that. The confluence of cultures, the clash between the coaches. Like I mean, it's just so many angles here. Like besides Hopkins game, like the UVA game is the one that like I think is just means the most for the program, and like I think that they would savor the most winning, especially right now, just like because these are the two best programs have combined for 4 of the last 6 titles, right? 2017,
yeah,
19,
yeah,
21, 22, and then Notre Dame won last year. So they're the best in the sport. You see kind of like just great drama and theater when they're playing. There's just certain things that just happen that just like you noted, like the way that Maryland lost to UVA in 2019, like it could have only happened to Virginia, and in that manner. So yeah, it's a big game, and I'm excited to always cover it with you, just because like a person with this, like a student of history, and just like one who really appreciates the rivalry in this, and like I can see it, like for me too, like this is always kind of just super fun pod, just because like a lot of the things that we kind of joke about and stuff like that, they kind of center around these two teams, these two coaches, these two schools, and it's always really kind of fun.
I love it. I mean, it's again, it's what you want, these big games. There's just not many that have this kind of juice to it. Again, Charlottesville, like that's what he's like. They get up for a lot, like in Charlottesville especially. It's like, but there's games where you can tell like it's different. That one last year was different. Like it was different. And like College Park, like it's like they do great. College Park always, it's top 2 or 3 in like attendance. Like there's only gonna be 7,000 or 8,000 for. And again, maybe I'm wrong, but like I imagine it'll be, a huge, crowd. Like they've had generally, this year so far, it's been, For most games, it's been 3,000, and this is Virginia. So like that's only going to happen for like again Virginia. And again, like Hopkins, that's its own kind of special game. But and there's just like the Princeton game had 3,675. For Princeton. Like Virginia's the game that gets the sidewalk fan, to show up. So and it's it's the game that's always it's always on TV. They're always going to put it on TV. It always just gets a different reaction. The players, I think even the way the players talk about it, like they have a different juice and reaction to it. So yeah, it's just I think it's like I think Utah was like it's just the last couple of years it's hit a special inflection point with the playing each other in the tournament 3 straight years. The fact that they won the each team won the title. They won 3 titles in a row and 4 of 5. Like it got taken. It's like you took all the like factors we talked about and then you just put it with hit it with rocket fuel. With like deciding those. Yeah, it's like, there again. There's a lot of good rivalries in this, but there is a uniqueness I think to this what's developed. In a sense, it feels like one of the more this all the other great ones I think feel very. This feels like the first modern in a weird way. It's like because all the other ones feel like we're basing it off like history. Like Hopkins, Maryland, Syracuse, Hopkins, Army, Navy, like all those are like, it's all kind of like, this is very historic in the game. It's like this one feels like, no, it's right because like what all this, like this new history that's been developed, like under the last like couple of years is what's made it really, it's like, I don't know that we've like Duke Notre Dame kind of to a degree, but it doesn't have kind of the other things that this one has. And it doesn't have to me the juice that this one, I don't know, maybe because I'm close to it gives me a different perspective.
Well, they're so steeped in lacrosse, the states themselves.
Like exactly.
This is where
the game is just it's
like two sons, like like if someone make like a folklore, like a ancient Rome like story of like how they like there's 2 sons of Zeus and they both they always battle like to eternity. Like this is the stuff that they make lore of, like the way that they actually care about lacrosse in Maryland and Virginia. It makes sense that like it has more of a impact than I did Notre Dame and Maryland's got a nice little rivalries.
Yes.
But it's not this. The history is why it's like, and the fact that
Duke Notre Dame is new money. It's like new money is just it's not the same.
Doesn't hit the same.
All right. The game itself, yeah. I mean, I think we'll